Hello again, we're back. Students, we're here. It's Friday and it's Mother's Day on Sunday. But before we go any further, we've discovered that other people are now watching these videos. So I thought for the other people, let me just give a little bit of background. When I say other people, people from other countries have started to watch it, which is lovely. It's what we want. We are Spectrum Cooks, okay? We run a cooking school in Cape Town, South Africa, and it's for those individuals who are neurodiverse. However, the cooking school isn't actually much different to any other cooking school. We perhaps move a little bit slower on certain things, and we give lots more detail, as you'll notice from the videos. And the videos are quite rushed at times, which we don't want, but we have to do because of the uploading time, etc. We have a number of students, and obviously being on lockdown now, we need to keep in contact with them. So we started this whole video thing, and it's just actually taken off. We're having quite a lot of fun, and it means that our students can watch the video and cook the items, etc. in their own kitchen. But we are all longing for lockdown to finish so that we can have a mad cookery school again with noise and music and smells and laughter. So that is basically who and what we are. So now, today, Sunday's Mother's Day, first time in history that, well, our history, that moms have to stay at home, that they can't be treated out to a lunch like is most common, even with beautiful weather like this, they're stuck at home. And the common thing that this family normally does is breakfasts or lunches or whatever. I know what I'm getting from my son, but we'll photograph it and put it up some other time. So all I'm going to do today is scones, because I think on Mother's Day afternoon or morning tea at 11, you need to serve mom some scones and jam and cream and give it to her on a beautifully set out plate and tray, and she'll love you for it. Now, because we locked down, and because here in South Africa it's going into winter, even though we've got such lovely weather, we're having a problem with fruit. And so none of the nice jammy fruits are available. But there is no reason not to make homemade jam from a tin of fruit. So you've got tinned strawberries, make beautiful stuff, tinned pineapple, peaches, pears, the mixed fruit. Just use the whole lot. And I'm going to show you quickly. So we're going to do the jam's going to bubble away while I do the scones. So what I've decided to do today, just because I like it, is we like peaches. You open the tin of peaches as they are. Don't bother to cut them up or anything. Drain them. Okay. If you can get peaches in fruit juice, better. The peaches in the syrup have got a lot of sugar in them, hence draining them. Pop them into a pot. Take that away. Then you are going to put about, I'm using coconut sugar here. You don't have to use any sugar. I'm using about a 1/4 cup of coconut sugar. It is going to make the jam slightly darker, but we are all trying very hard after Easter to watch the weight. And whilst it's still sugar, it's got a low GI, so it breaks down a lot slower in the body. So 1/4 cup of sugar. I'm going to take a 1/4 cup of the fruit juice, maybe a little bit more, very bad, and put that on top. And then, because there's no pectin in tin fruit, a squeeze of lemon. Pectin is what sets your fruit. This is going to be more of a compote than it will be of an
Do you put any
jam.
of the pips in?
No. And did I get any? No. You would normally
There's one. The pips contain pectin as well.
Sorry? Very unprofessional, sticking my
Normally you see jam recipes ask for you to put your pips in a muslin bag and then stick it in.
Turn it on to, if you're doing gas, onto low heat, even on the stove, low heat, because your sugar has to melt first before this can start boiling. Just remember, once again, you get tins of fruit that are in fruit juice, no sugar added, just throw the whole lot in. You don't need to add sugar, it's all personal. So I'm going to watch this. We need to boil it until these peaches basically go to nothing. I've got a masher just in case, and I'm going to put my coconut blossom sugar.
Where did you get this one from?
This one was from Checkers. Coconut blossom sugar is actually made from the nectar of the blossom. So it's not a coconut, it doesn't come from the coconut, it comes from the actual blossom, hence coconut blossom sugar. Okay, just going to watch that. And now we're going to, and I'm going to keep the juice aside in case I need to use more. Clear here. Okay, scones. Students, you have all made scones plenty times, and they are a great success and super easy to make. Today we're going to do savory scones. Okay, so what you are going to need equipment wise is a big enough bowl, a sieve, doesn't matter if it's just your big round one. You need a 1 cup measure,
The big one.
big cup. You need a tablespoon measure, which
So
is
the 15 mils, the big spoon.
the big spoon. Okay, you need, whoops, you need a knife, you need a whisk or a fork, and you need cutters.
A square one, square and a round one.
Yeah, we need a jug,
With 1 egg.
and that's it. No, the egg's the ingredient. The egg isn't the equipment, Shane.
Oh.
The egg's the ingredient. Okay, so now I'm going to talk. You've all got the recipe. If you don't have it, you call me for it or message me for it. In here, we've got 2 cups of cake flour. If you've got self-raising flour, it's exactly the same, 2 cups of self-raising flour, and you can also use whole wheat flour. In here, I've just got 2 cups of plain flour.
Could they use 1 cup plain, 1 cup whole wheat or
Yes,
something
they
like
could do that.
Okay.
Okay, put in now, I pre-measured this, but I didn't pre-measure out the baking powder. You cannot leave baking powder open. It loses its oomph. So only after the very last minute when you start. A tablespoon of baking powder, a pinch of salt. Now because I'm doing cheese scones, I'm adding some smoked paprika. It's a smoked one. Plain paprika, any spice that you want.
About what, a half a teaspoon you add in there?
Yeah, you know me. It's about a half a teaspoon. Okay, and then get this. If you're making sweet scones, we actually don't add sugar to the sweet scones because your jam that you put on top of your scones and your cream, etc., all adds to it. Okay?
Why are you sieving the scones?
Because
or
a
sifting?
scone is Jamie Oliver's fairy fingers, as he calls it. They must be light. So you must have lots of air in your flour.
And the sieve also gets rid of any unwanted things in the
lumps
flour
and things
or
like
whatever.
that. Keep an eye on your jam while it's cooking. There, okay. Then I am going to add, what am I going to add in? Cheese. It's about a cup of cheese. Okay.
Grated.
Grated cup of cheese. And you need 125 grams of really cold butter. Now you've got a choice. The traditional way is to cut it into little pieces, but the best way is to grate your butter. Okay, just put a little bit of flour on your grater and grate your butter.
So we put our butter, you weigh it out and then put it in the freezer.
Deep freeze. Now the reason I prefer to grate it is our scones are very flaky. Crispy on the outside, and when you break them open, they're flaky. They're not the scones that if you throw them, you knock somebody over or knock somebody out
Do
or
it quick,
whatever.
cook.
So it's as little finger work as possible in the scone. And when you've got chunks of batter, you're working too often with that batter that's in your flour, and it starts to heat up. So the whole thing is, even if you just put your fingers in the flour, keep the batter cold, keep your fingers cold. Do not get that batter melted. Okay. Getting that all in. Oh, yum. Obviously, batter's the best, but margarine can do at a push. Buy batter when it's at a good price. Keep it in the deep freeze. It won't go rancid. Don't keep it outside in the summer months. Okay, looks like a lot of batter, but don't forget I've grated it. Okay, batter grated. Now, fairy fingers. You're going to scoop your batter and your flour together. Lift and gently rub. Do not squeeze. You're not even supposed to get anything on the palm of your hand. So it's lift and work it through your
There's
fingers.
too much heat on the palm of your hands, and it's going to just melt
And you don't
everything.
want that batter to melt. I cannot stress enough the importance of the batter. So your recipe will say mix your batter and flour to fine breadcrumbs. Mine's not fine breadcrumbs. We like, well, obviously the cheese is in there and the batter is in there. And that's all the mixing that I am going to do. There you can see from Share what it looks like. Okay, dust my hand off a little bit. Okay, take a quick squizzy at the jam doing its thing. I'm going to add a little bit of water to that. Get some more water. Okay. Now comes the other important part of making scones. You need 100 ml of liquid. If you can use milk, but your better bet, because you've got a tablespoon of baking powder, which leaves that soapy taste in the mouth. So the best thing is to use buttermilk, Marcy, yogurt, sour cream. Sometimes you might need to thin it out a bit, but you use a sour milk product. The reason being is that it counteracts that funny soapy taste, and it'll give you a better crumb. So 100 ml of sour milk and 50 ml of water to thin it out. 1 egg. Okay, remember, smell the egg.
Don't put your egg in first because it will mess with your measurements.
Egg goes in last. Give it a good whisk so it's well combined. Okay, let me move everything out of the way here, just this nice. Oh, I'm going to put, I just found my herbs because we're making savory ones. I know you're all thinking savory ones and she's making jam. Well, it works.
Yeah,
I'm putting a pinch of sweet basil, dried sweet basil in there. My first love is to make savory scones more than to actually make sweet scones. I like the savory scone with the cheese and the jam and oh yum. Okay, get that mixed. Little bit of a hole in the middle. Take that away. Do not throw all your liquid in at once. If it is hot outside, you're going to need less liquid because your flour is going to be dry. If it's damp and humid, like if you live in Durban or in a humid climate, you might need more. It all depends, so don't add it all. Add about half, using a knife, or if you're lucky enough to have a pastry cutter, cut it in. Don't use a spoon, because once again you will making it into a thick lump. Take a little bit more. It's quite dry here today, and also because I've got the heat of the gas next to me, so the flour is dry, so it's going to be thirsty. Give it a little squeeze to find. Nope. Okay, and a little bit more. Okay. Cut it all in. Looks like it'll never come together. Don't despair. It comes together. Be patient. Get all of that from the underneath. I'm just feeling my dough. I don't want it too dry. Okay. Now you're going to take some flour. Get it onto your surface. Okay. Turn your scone dough onto your surface there, and you'll see I've got dry bits left. Tip it onto the middle. Let's put this away. Using again fairy fingers. Just gently fold it over and push it together. Very messy. I know some people don't like to get their fingers messy, but it's not the end of the world.
And it's very much worth it when you're eating it.
Oh, yes. Okay. Now you see, I have literally just mixed this together. Whoops. Okay. And I've rolled it into, you do not need a scone, and you do not roll out a scone with a rolling pin. Get it into a nice ball. Okay. Now you're going to put a little bit more flour on your surface. Okay, I am now going to quickly wash my hands because otherwise it's a bit difficult to work with this. Press that in there. Give me 2 seconds, guys. Jay, how's the jam?
We're looking at it, the
there.
jam's going very nicely.
Okay, right, I'm back.
Just give that a stir, Mom.
Okay, let's give this a stir. Okay, and I need more water in there.
If it looks like it's going, all the water's going away, don't be afraid to add more.
This is, we're using our gas still, so it's a lot faster than if I put it on an electric plate. Okay, now at this stage, just before you get this ready, you put your oven on to 200 degrees, 190, 180 if you've got a convection oven, which is the oven with the fan. Take a baking tray, dust it with flour. It doesn't really, scones don't really like spray and cook. Give it a good dusting with flour. Then you can choose whichever cutted you want. Mother's Day, you can make it into hearts. You can do anything you want. There isn't really a law. I like to do small ones because then it feels like you get more. Now what would normally happen is this would be rolled out. That's the no-no, okay? You are going to gently press it down with your hand until you've got about, what's that, Shay? About to your first finger thickness.
About 3 centimeters?
Yeah. Dust your cutter in some flour. Push, twist, and lift. And pop it out onto the baking tray. Okay, this is not getting. Make sure your cutter is floured, as you'll struggle. Push, twist, and lift. Now put them next to each other with not too much of a gap. Important because they help support each other.
As they rise in the oven.
Rise. Push, lift. Scones! Okay, push, lift. You should get, this is a slightly bigger cutter than the one I actually even use. I use a much smaller one. You normally get out about 9 scones from this mixture. Push, lift. Okay. Okay, now you gather it together gently with your fingers, not the palm of your hand. Just get it nicely put together. Quickly, a little bit more flour. Keep it flour light, round. Get it back down. I'm going to make some square scones just because I found this cutter and I want to see what it works like. Okay, push, give it a wiggle and lift. Push, wiggle and lift. Ah, did not put flour on that one. Okay, use up all your scone dough. Those of us in the cooking class, we always like the little bit of scone dough left afterwards because we eat it. I don't know what it is. It's like having cookie dough, I suppose. Once again, get it all in together, pat it down. No rolling pins to be in sight. Use all that dough. Okay. Now you can either have rustic scones, in other words that the top is not brushed. I'm going to brush some and some I'm going to leave. And they normally say do it with an egg wash, but you know what, that is actually a waste of an egg. So you normally have a little bit of your milk mixture left or your buttermilk mixture left. Use that. Don't go and break an egg and do an egg wash. Okay, there's one lonely one. Okay, you normally have some of the mixture left which has got egg in it. Give your scones a brush. So I'm going to brush one row and leave the other rows naked or rustic. These go into the oven for 12 to 15 minutes depending on your oven, okay? And we'll finish off the video when they come out and when the jam will be ready by then. So get your scones in and we will be back. Okay, bell's gone. Hi guys, I'm going to take out of the oven quickly. Sounds like they're ready. Oh, they look gorgeous. Oh. Okay, oven off because we're not going to use it again. Oh. Okay, scones. Okay, you can see those that we basted or brushed have just got a slight glaze on them, and then we've got the rustic one. Absolutely perfect.
So how do we check that they're ready?
We don't. We wait for a second because they got to rest. No, lie. The way you check, don't stick a skewer through your scone. You just break one scone off. And you can see they need to be all flaky, etc. Like
yeah,
that.
No gooey raw bits.
Oh, yeah, ouch! Burn myself. Okay.
Yeah, that's
right.
hot.
Let's get back to the jam. Okay. While I was gone, I used a masher to mash up the jam a little bit. Remember, we used the coconut blossom sugar, so we've got a darker jam, which is absolutely divine. So you can see now that everything is sort of broken down. You can do jam with any fruit, and lots of people are scared of jam because they think, oh, I can't do a jam, I don't know when it's ready, what. First thing to look for is the bubbles must start to get bigger, but this is the best way. They say put a saucer in the fridge. Yes, you can do that, but what I do is I scoop up some of the liquid and I just blow it. Very unhealthy, but what the heck. And then I let it drip off the spoon. You see that long, slow drip. That means you've got perfect jam.
If it's a stream?
If it's a stream, carry on boiling. Why people get confused or worried about jam is that in a heated situation, it's still very watery and viscous. Your jam only comes together once it's cold. So use that sort of test. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, because that's perfect, we're going to dish up some jam, just as an example. I've made this chunky. You can make it a lot smoother if you want to. Okay, a little bit of jam on the side for mom. Let's move this junk away and get out a knife. Now, you do not cut a scone. Another mistake, okay, that many people make. Shay loves this, because we get to eat all of these things. He's nodding there, much better. But bearing in mind that the waistlines are increasing, okay? You do not cut your scone, because if you cut your scone, you are going to flatten the layers of the flakiness. So a scone gets broken, okay? So that you have lovely
It's got
layers.
natural seams as
So
it rose.
Just one on, and you can put the other one like that if you like. I am not the stylist. Shay is the stylist. And Tina Marie will most probably have a heart attack when she sees how I style. And you put it on a beautiful tray, and you take to mom, and she will love you to bits. Enjoy Mother's Day, but I'm coming back with one more item. See you just now. Bye-bye.